Hello everybody, and welcome to my first ever Unity tutorial. In this sort of introduction video, I'm going to be starting a new project that's going to span multiple tutorials, making a choice-driven game. So, let me pull something up real fast. This is the project we're going to be making. If you could just follow my cursor, it's basically a series of questions that lead to other questions and choices that'll all lead you to some end result. And by the end of this series, we will have this entire thing coded. So I'm going to assume that you have Unity already installed in your computer. If you don't, just go to Unity's website right here and download the personal version, which is the one I'm using. And you should download the hub. This is the Unity hub right here. And you should be looking at the screen with me. Now, next thing you're going to have to do, they might make you do this automatically, I don't remember, but you'll install an engine. Any version should be fine right now, any 2019 version. If you don't have one, you're just going to click Add, and then click on the latest version, and then it'll install. But since I already have that, I'm not going to do that. So, we're going to create a brand new project. We're going to click New. This is going to come up. We're going to click 2D. I'll just call this project Choice Driven Game, and this file path is fine with me. Just put this somewhere you can remember, and we're going to click Create. Alright, so this should be your project, and we're going to start out just by making the UI, which is just the user interface. I don't think we're going to do any coding this episode. It's just going to be setting up the interface so that we can code next episode. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here to Create. We're going to go to UI, which is just User Interface, and click Image. Now, this is going to create something called a canvas, and the canvas is going to zoom you out all the way back here, and what the canvas is just where all of the UI elements go on. So we'll click on our image, going to rename this background, and go over here to the rect transform and reset both of these to 0, putting it in the middle. Now, if we go down here to the game view, we can see the dimensions of the window that we're looking at. It's 1024 by 768. So we're going to go to the width, and we're going to put 1024. And we're going to go to height, and we're going to put 768. There we go. And we're just going to make this, I don't know, just a dark color. Maybe like more of a grayish, like that. This can be changed really easily just in this menu. So it really doesn't matter what you make it. Next thing we're going to create is text. So let's click on this. And it's going to show up all the way down here. It's kind of small, so once again we're just going to center it real fast, and it's going to snap it to the middle. We're going to come down here to color, and we're going to change this to white so that you can actually see. And we're going to go to alignment, and we're just going to put it in the middle. Now, what we're going to need is we're going to need some kind of box to put this text in. So let's go to Create, Image, we'll create another one, center it again, and I'm just going to call this text box. Now, this is the layer that you can see things. So you can see the background, then the text box. And as you can see, the text box, actually if I change the color of the box, you'll be able to see it a bit easier. I'll make it like a neon green. If I put the box over the text, it covers it. But if we drag the text box and we put it in front of, the text is now in front of the box. Now that's actually really hard to see, so I'm just going to make this box black. There we go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make this text a child of the text box. And just doing that just means if we move the text box, it moves the text with it. So let's reset this one. we're gonna make the text box, its width is gonna be 300. Now let's go 400. That looks about right. And we're gonna take the text and we're just gonna drag these to the corners of box. And we're gonna go back to the text box object and we're gonna move it down right about there. So that's about -100. Next thing we need to make are our choices. So we're going to come back up to create, UI, button. It's going to create our button. So if we reset the position, now the button has its button component, and as a child, it has the text. So we're just going to write in choice 1. Oh, gotta put space. And we'll rename the button choice 1 also. Now, since the text box is -100, we'll make this -300's a little much. 200 looks about right. So we'll make it -200, and we'll make the X -100. And then what we're going to do is just use Control D to duplicate this 3 times. We now have choice 2, choice 3, choice 4. We can edit the text accordingly. Now that that's set up, we can move the position. So choice 2, we're just going to make this a +100, and that'll put it over here. Down here, we're going to just make this negative, maybe 250. That looks about right. And here, we have to change this to -250, and we have to change this to a +100. And that looks nice. Now, there's one more thing we have to add to our text box. So we're going to go to text, and I'm going to use that Control D, and I'm going to rename this to name. And this is going to display the name of whoever we're talking to in our current conversation. So I'm going to take the name text, and I'm going to go down here to alignment and put it back over to the left. And then we're going to take the body text, click up here at the move, and just drag this down to about just below the text, like that. And we can look down here at what this looks like. Looking good. Now there's one more thing we have to add to our UI, and this is an image. Well, we gotta add one more image, and this is gonna display the image of whoever we're talking to. So again, we'll reset the position. Maybe we'll move it up to like 100. We'll do 150. And we'll make this 200 by 200. So this is an image of the person we're talking to. This is their name. This is what they're saying, and our 4 choices. Now that we have the UI set up, there's one thing that we're going to need to import. If you look in the description of this video, there's going to be a link to a Google Drive folder with these 4 images in them. These 4 PNGs are going to be our character and 4 expressions for him. So if you just select these 4 images and download them, we'll be using these. Once you have them downloaded, you can drag them into the project and you'll see them right here. But we need to edit a couple of these settings before we can drag them in. If you see, if we click on our person and we drag in, you can see that it's a little blurry and it's a little fuzzy. Now, you can want this. This can be your intended effect if you have more complicated, non-pixelated characters. But since I'm doing a very pixelated character, I'm going to have to edit some of these settings. If you have an animated, non-pixelated character, you can ignore this. But if you're using these, we're going to have to edit some of these settings. Okay, first thing we're going to have to do is change the pixels per unit for 32, because that's how big the picture is. On the filter mode, we go to no filter. And here under compression, we need no compression. And if we hit, sometimes the apply's been a little funky right now in Unity, so if you just click off of it here, it'll say, do you want to apply? You click yes, and as you can see, it is no longer blurry. That's all we're going to do in today's tutorial. In the next one, we will be actually starting to do some coding, making all the buttons and text and pictures do something, and then we'll get into the actual choice making. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.